Now it's time for today's perspective here on France 24. And why can't the children of the community where we came from have the same benefits, the same place? Now that was the question that my guest today asked herself. She spent 7 years working in private schools in Colombia, wishing the education that she and her colleagues were providing was available to all. Well, she actually decided to do something about it. Lilibeydy Manrique set up ABLE. Now it's a non-profit school in Siloé in Cali in Colombia that brings or aims to bring bilingual and artistic educational programs to the wider community. The school home to around 140 students from vulnerable communities, and it's won national prizes, in fact, for social innovation, and is part of the Young Leaders of the Americas initiative of President Barack Obama. Lilibeydy joins me now from Colombia. Thanks very much for being with us on the programme. Let's start at the beginning then with how you felt as you were working in those private schools in Colombia.
Hi, thank you for having me today with you. I found out that children are all the same, regardless of where they come from. It's as they grow that they start getting those stereotypes and other circumstances that makes them become selfish and all these kind of things. Also, I found out, and my brother and I found out that all that children need is an opportunity. Children and youth, they need an opportunity to grow, to thrive in life. And that's when we decided that we had to come back to where we came from and start our own school.
So did you feel awkward, perhaps, working in private schools when what you felt you wanted to do was to help others?
Exactly. I felt like I was investing resources, time, knowledge in communities that pretty much already had it all, instead of working with my own community where we experienced ourselves growing up, the lack of resources and opportunities, especially educational opportunities. And that's when we decide to come back and kind of like give back. Because of everything we had received, we were able to have access to higher education. And that's like 1% of our community. Here, they live 75,000 people, and like 1% of their youth get a chance to go to college. So when we get that and we are investing that time in others instead of our own, that's when we think we had to start the school.
So tell us a bit about the kind of kids that you wanted to help and the kind of kids that you are now helping.
Well, we work with preschoolers. It's a K through 5 school. Their families have informal jobs. That's very common in Colombia and Cali too. Families with informal jobs, they might make not more than $5 a day, and families which are broken, so that also affects the economy. The area where they live is surrounded by conflict among gangs, even drug consumption, poverty. That's the kind of community where we work.
And the actual education that you're giving them, I mean, you talk about artistic programs and also helping them to be bilingual. Why are those things particularly something that you concentrate on?
It is very particular because English in Colombia has been part of the elites. It is very hard for a person growing in a vulnerable community to have access to bilingual education. Because bilingual schools are very expensive, or even language institutes. And that sets a gap of, we believe it's an inequality gap that provides opportunities to the ones who speak English and neglects the ones who don't. And that's why our main focus is English, is bilingualism. And we already have 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds speaking English in a basic conversational level with me. And on the other hand, we have to empower them with other skills or 21st century skills, which is STEAM, science, arts, technology. And by giving them those resources and opportunities, they will find their own talents and they grow to their potential.
And how are you funding it? Because presumably you still have to pay the teachers, you have to have money yourselves to live as well.
Yeah, we are working under the model of a social enterprise. So a social enterprise is self-sustainable. We don't depend on charity, although I must admit that it helps. But we don't depend on that because the parents pay a monthly fee to have their children studying here at the school. On the other hand, we know there are families who can't afford to pay for those fees, and we have a scholarship program for them.
And you're non-profit making as well. We should make that point too. I mean, presumably it's the kind of thing that you would really like to massively expand and make it available to everybody.
Yes, our big dream with Colegio La Fontaine or La Fontaine School is to replicate the model not only in our city but in all over Colombia, because we find 80% of Colombians living in this kind of situation, or conditions. So we're working on a model. We implemented a model to teach English easily and in a fun way. So we're working on the model because it's been 4 years since the school opened. And once the model is ready to replicate, we will just tell the story and train other schools to turn from basic traditional schools in low-income communities and make them bilingual schools with nonprofit.
Well, it sounds like it's working so far. So best of luck with the future of the venture. Thanks very much for joining us on the programme. Lilibeydy Manrique joining us there live from Colombia. Thanks.